All right, we are in the Camaro. Let's give a listen to how it sounds when we start it up. Well, as you heard, that was not a start. Well, first things first, let's make sure the battery is good. So I got my jump pack hooked up. Let's crank it over and see if the jump pack gives it enough current to turn the starter motor over easier. Here we go. So even though it started that time, I think that's just because it cranked over a little bit the first time and it just got lucky this time. All right, we have the car safely jacked up in the air. The starter is here on the driver's side. This is the starter. There's a heat shield on the way. We have to unbolt the heat shield, then we can access the starter. Almost forgot the most important step, disconnect the battery, since we're going near the starter. Under the car here, there's a 10mm we'll loosen and a 13 up here. And I believe those are the only two. And then this heat shield should just slide right off. All right, there was one more bolt up top. I had to use a long ratchet with the flex head to get it out. And now I think, yep, the shield just comes out to the right, back towards the transmission. We'll set it aside. And here we go. We have a better view of our starter. There's one of the starter bolts looking right at us. The wiring's up top that we can't see. And there's one more bolt for the starter right here in between the exhaust, which we'll be able to fit with an extension. So let's go ahead and pop this off. Looks like just 2 bolts. And actually, now that I roll back, I can see the wiring for the starter. And so far, just looking at it, everything looks good. Nothing looks super corroded. That leads me to believe it was in fact a bad starter, but we'll pop it out and make sure. So got my ratchet with the wall extension, and that's coming off no problem. The one over here is a lot tighter for some reason, so I'm using my 1/2" impact. As you can see, I sprayed some PB Blaster just to be safe, but this will come off no problem. Now I have the back bolt on still. I took the front one out, and I'm gonna remove the plugs while we're here, these wires. So all we need to worry about is this thick one on my left side. That's the battery positive cable, and then this really thin one on the top right side, that is the trigger wire. So we want to remove both of those, and then we can drop the starter. So I've angled the starter this way, and this gave me perfect access to remove this last nut. So let's take this B+ terminal off, and out comes the starter just like that. So as you see, I removed the starter without dropping the exhaust. I see some people say you have to, but clearly I just did it without removing the exhaust. We have our B+ terminal here, our trigger wire. Everything looks to be okay. I don't really see any signs of corrosion or damage to this. Now let's take a look at the starter. So just for fun, we're taking a look at the starter, seeing if we see anything wrong. And I don't really see any signs of corrosion or damage or anything. The wires, or the cover of the wire is green, but that's because of overspray. There's a little green crusties on the wire, but I don't really know if that was quite the case. This could just be on its way out. It's free and everything, but just under load, it wasn't doing its job. Here we have new versus old. I got a brand new AC Delco starter, found on Amazon for like 90 bucks. Spent a little more on the better quality one, so that hopefully it is better quality. They look exactly the same. Let's go ahead and swap it in. Alright, hopefully you can see we got the starter. Let's just shove it right back in where it came out of. So I'm just gonna tuck these wires out of the way, and I think that's just gonna be my best bet. Yep. So wires out of the way. And this just kind of slides right into place. And just like that, it is in place. Now, let's bring it back. Let's start hooking up our terminals. So the small one's super easy. We'll do that last. Let's do the battery positive. There's a little tab that it goes into. So as you see, I got the battery positive cable in this big black one. I'm putting my washer down. And now the nut. And now we'll worry about tightening it up. Got a little crooked there. Alright, new starter is all installed. We have everything bolted in. And everything back here is all good, nice and torqued. I'm not sure what the torque spec is, but just tighten it enough, not too much. Alright, let's put this back on the ground and fire it up. Alright, all back together. Let's get on in here. And well, that was a much better start than before. If you heard, the starter was same rhythm, same power the whole way through. Before, no chance that happened. It was always like a and then start. That's cool. Shut it off. Let's see if it happens again. Okay, and turning. There we go. That sounds good. That's starting good. Nice. Now don't be like me and forget to put the heat shield back on. I gotta put the car back up, throw that on, and then we're good to go. But that's gonna be it. We replaced the starter on this and it cranks much, much better now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.